What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Jimmy Old School Flips, and you are listening to Full-Time Flippers Podcast right here on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe.
This week on the Full-Time Flippers Reselling Podcast.
That was my home run, and I still can't believe it. I opened the thing up and looked down. I'm like, what? Who throws Legos away? I just don't get it.
Hi, I'm Chad the Quirky Picker. I'm a full-time reseller from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Hi everyone, I'm Denis the Free King Flipper. I'm a full-time reseller from Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Join us each week as we discuss life as a full-time reseller. We will share our experiences, both the good and the not so good.
Learn from our expertise and our mistakes.
From sourcing to listing to shipping.
Customer interactions, we will cover it all.
This is the Full-Time Flippers
Reselling Podcast.
Welcome to the Full-Time Flippers Reselling Podcast. This is episode 10. I am Chad the Quirky Picker, and I'm here with my co-host,
Denis the Free King Flipper. What's going on, Chad?
Hey, Denis. So tell us about your last 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded. So what have you been up to?
Real fast, I went on vacation. I drove down to Virginia to visit my sister-in-laws. And then from there, we flew out of Richmond Airport over to St. Croix. That was absolutely insane. I loved that island. I fell in love with the people, the food, the beaches, the water. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And we did this all in like 9 days. Flew back to Miami, flew back up to Richmond, drove back to the Charlottesville area, spent another couple of days. I got sick. And then we drove from Virginia back up to Massachusetts, which is it's about 11 plus hours. And then right back into the meat grinder. And this week has been just trying to get back into the swing of things, listing and taking pictures and shipping orders. I was blessed enough to have 80 plus orders to go out when I got back from vacation. It is a two-edged sword. I mean, that's a lot of work. It was almost 4.5 hours of packing.
Wow.
But I'd rather that than come back to, nothing.
Yeah.
Like eight orders going out. So Poshmark, I had to shut it off. So I didn't get any sales. They don't have a quasi vacation mode where you can leave the store open. It's either open or shut. That's it. So it's taking a little while to get that going again. But eBay has been slow for me. Even leaving the store open, I had to adjust the handling time. And when people see, 5, 6, 7 days of handling, they're not going to buy. Most people aren't going to wait that long to buy an item. So that hurt a bit. And now I have it adjusted back to what I normally do, and it's starting to pick up again. So
yeah. So you came home on Monday, and you got back into the grind on Tuesday?
Yes.
So when did you take your store off of vacation? On what day?
Well, I never put it on vacation. I just adjusted the handling time.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I like that better than time away.
Yeah, because then every couple of days you can go online. You can go onto the site and move it back again. So I think initially I had 10 days handling because I wasn't going to be back.
Yeah.
For that amount of time, and then after a couple of days, they moved it back to 7, then 5, then 3, then 2. So that seems to work.
Okay.
You kind of jump start it a little bit. Is how I like to look at it.
Yeah. Do you send a message to everybody that buys, letting them know? Or not?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes, but don't worry. They come out after 3 days. When's my item going to ship?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it says it in the listing when you buy it, the handling time, and it says when you can expect it.
Yeah.
They don't read that.
But why wouldn't you want to do time away? Because your store is still active, but then they get a message that says you're on vacation and you won't be shipping until a specific date.
I've tried using that, and I click that time away, and I telling you, after 24 hours, eBay is just like, well, he's not going to be here, and your store just goes to the graveyard. It is. I've done it before, and I said I will never use that again. And then when you get back, it takes like a week for the algorithm to start picking your stuff up again. And I won't use it. It's literally telling eBay, I'm not here. So don't even bother promoting my items. Don't even bother moving my stuff up to the top of the search. Basically saying, I'm closed. And in my experience, that's what it was. It's just a slow, probably 10 to 12 days. For some reason, the first day that you put it on Time Away, people are buying all kinds of stuff. And then it just drops off, and then it stays there for like a week, and then it slowly comes back up again. So,
we said you had 80. That's still pretty good.
But because I didn't use Time Away.
Okay. And how many people asked to cancel? Any?
0.
Okay.
And I had 3 or 4 people asking, hey, where's my item? Or, hey, when are you going to ship? And I just said, yeah, I'm away. I'll be back on this day, and I'm shipping on this day. And all of them said, okay. I'm like, no worries. Just.
Right. I think if you want something in a hurry, you don't buy it on eBay anyhow, unless you can't get it on Amazon.
No. Right.
You buy it on Amazon,
Exactly
you want
right.
it tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. It's been 2 weeks since we last recorded, and we were all ready to go last week, but we had technical difficulties, so we scrapped it. And I just put out a clips video last week just to entertain people with
I watched it
with our time machines. Yeah.
It was crazy. I loved it. I'm like, wow, that's some good stuff we're going to bring back from the time machine.
Yeah. So, my week was good. Last week, I went to an estate sale on Thursday, and I filled my car for $40. And then on Friday morning, I hit 7 yard sales. And one of these yard sales was really close to my house. And they had this huge St. Bernard plush stuffed animal. It was 60 inches in size. And I was looking at that, and the lady comes up to me and she's like, you like that? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's huge. I was just admiring how detailed it was. And she's like, yeah, I had a St. Bernard. And when it died, I asked my husband for another one. And this is what he bought me. He didn't want me to have another dog because they were just so much work. And they don't live very long because they're so big and heavy, and their hearts don't last. I don't know. I forget what she said the average lifespan of a St. Bernard is. But anyhow, she said, I'll sell you that one. And I'm like, well, I didn't really say I was interested. And she's like, I'll sell it to you for $8. And I'm like, okay. Because I'm pretty sure I could sell it for more than $8.
Yeah.
And I said, if my 3-year-old, if he likes it, I'll keep it. And if, I didn't really say that. I said, I'm hoping my 3-year-old likes it. But my wife's like, yeah, it's too big, and it will go, just sell it and make some money. So I'm going to bring up, this isn't mine, but this is identical to the one that I bought. And
wow.
As you can see, this thing's huge. This one here sold for $284 plus $46 shipping. And that was last July. So I put mine up for auction, and it ends this Sunday night, but I started it at $250, and I don't have any bids on it yet. I haven't even looked to see how many views it's had, but
wow.
I know it's capable of getting this much money. So if it doesn't sell for $250, I might just put it out there after the auction's over for $250 and then see if I get offers or if somebody buys it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
How would you ship it? Box it?
I'm just going to, fold it up, put it in the smallest box I can. Yeah. But I bet it weighs 15 pounds.
Oh, wow.
It's just massive. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. But I went to an estate sale last night, and I had won a few lots of board games. I probably got 15 to 20 board games and a bunch of vintage puzzles. Some of them aren't open, like an Addams Family puzzle from the 1960s, maybe.
Oh, wow.
And some really cool games. And I have a game right here that I'm listing on, I'll list this on eBay, or it's going to go live probably tonight. Let's see if I can do this. It's called Dogfight.
Oh, I have sold this.
Yeah. So this one sells between $25 and $60, depending on if it's complete.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I found this at a yard sale,
Mhm.
and I remember that. Wow, that was probably like 3 years ago. I found that thing.
I'm pretty sure this isn't even the most valuable game I got, but I'm going to list it for $60. It's complete, except it's missing the dice. I don't know how much value that loses, but
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
What did you pay for these?
I paid $7 for each lot, so $14 total.
Wow.
And then I probably bought another $20 worth of stuff and filled up the trunk of my car with every last space I could find. I love estate sales. I'm telling you, I'm home running it on state sales and striking out at yard sales this year, but it's got to change. You got any yard sales coming up this weekend?
I just looked on the app and all that. There's one maybe 20 miles away, and I have to go through like Facebook and all that, and then Craigslist. A lot of people do it like last minute, like tonight they'll advertise.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
So I'll look tonight after dinner and see if I can, go to. I like to go to 2 or 3, something.
You got to move here. I'm telling you, this is
We drove right past. What was it? 80, 87,
81 from Virginia
81.
to Harrisburg. Yeah.
Yeah, we drove right through, and I'm like, oh man, beautiful country, but I don't see my ocean, and I start to get a little claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I have to have the beach. I'm a beach bum, so I mean, I wouldn't last too long.
No, it's like 2.5 hours from here to the nearest beach. Okay, moving on to the viewer mail segment. I'll share a comment from one of our viewers, and we've shared from him before, but Rick Rotman was talking about our time machine last week. We went, or 2 weeks ago, we went back to the year 2000. And he said, if I could go back and buy something in the year 2000, it would have to be Pokemon cards. And we didn't bring that up.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So
holy cow.
I don't know if you can see that at home, but the top one was like a Neo Genesis 9. I don't know what all these are, but I don't know anything very little about Pokemon, but $25,000, 15,000, 14,000, first edition booster box, 14,000. Let's see what these look like. Okay, that's 9,000 still sealed. Trading card game, 8,000. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, good catch. I would not. What's this?
Oh, it's a great graded card. Yeah.
$6,000. So if I was into it, let's go back and let's add those to our list of what we're going to get.
Absolutely. You
Good call.
could just buy boxes and boxes of different ones and just leave them sealed. And
yeah. You have a story for us this week?
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's just while I was on vacation, I did end up going to some thrift stores. Why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go to. I think I posted some of it on Instagram, but I did go to like this little yard sale type thing, and I think it was kind of like one of yours that you went to. All the Walmart stuff and just Dollar Tree garbage, like just absolute garbage. And I'm like sitting there going, even if this stuff was free, I probably would walk away empty-handed. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And then it was right next door to a antique mall, and they had some of the coolest stuff in there, all like mid-century, like right in my heart. Like I love that stuff. All the Pyrex and Fire King, but their prices were outrageous. I couldn't believe what they were charging. Probably $2 to $5 to $8 more than eBay.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just nuts. So I walked through, I took some footage and I posted it just so people could see jadeite bowls. And I mean, real nice stuff, like complete sets of Pyrex bowls, the nesting bowls, and old toys. They had some awesome things there, but everything there was almost double the price of what it should have been. And I commented as I'm walking around with my phone, I'm like, this is nuts. Like this, there's no wonder the place is absolutely slam packed with stuff because no one's buying anything.
Buying it, yeah. Where was this at?
This was in Virginia,
Okay.
up north of Charlottesville. And I actually looked for thrift stores while we were in St. Croix, and I found one. And the roof was missing, so they were closed. This was still a unfortunate event from Hurricane Irma, when that decimated the island, and they just never rebuilt it. and but that was it. So I like thrifting while I'm on vacation, seeing like different places.
Yeah.
I did find one in Earlysville, Virginia, near my sister-in-law, and their prices were outstanding. Video games are $2. I picked up a handful of those. They had toys in there. I bought some Star Wars stuff, real cheap, and tons of glassware, but I didn't want to like drive home with it. So I ended up grabbing and some clothing. They had like $1 rack, so I'm picking up clothes for $1. So that was good. I grabbed probably 2 bags worth of stuff from there, and it was, I don't know, $12, $13. So that's my type of thrift store. I like that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's it. Had a good time and brought it back, and I listed took pictures of it today, and I'm going to list it tonight.
Mm-hmm. All right. I got a story. It's from my past. When I was new on eBay, I bought a Kirby I think it was like a G6 model 2000 vacuum cleaner. I think I paid $6 at an estate sale, and it came with a bunch of accessories, like in a caddy. I have a picture of a caddy here. So it was like with the hose and it's a little plastic caddy, and you can put all the little attachments and stuff in the caddy. And it needed cleaned out, but I put in the ad that it needs cleaned. So I shipped this to some guy from Texas. He bought it for $30, and he paid $30 shipping.
Wow.
It was only like $15 to ship, but I don't know why. I think this was before I was passing along my discount to customers. So it charged him $30 for shipping, and he paid it. And then as soon as he got the item, he sent me a message and said that this item was a piece of junk, and that he had already did a chargeback on his credit card.
Oh man.
And he wanted to return it. And I called eBay and I said, what am I supposed to do? They already charged it back on the credit card. I said, can you check to see if they're telling the truth? And they checked, and they said, yep, he did it. I said, what should I do? And they're like, nothing. He just got all of his money back. So I don't do anything.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything. And then a couple weeks later, they sent me a message, and they were angry because I overcharged them on shipping. And I said, I didn't set that price on shipping. And then they said they opened up a dispute against me because I wouldn't take the item back. But they never actually opened up a return.
But didn't they do a chargeback?
They did on the credit card.
So they got their money back.
They got them from the credit card, not eBay. I don't know how that works exactly. I don't know. I'm just telling you, this is what happened. They opened up a dispute against me because I refused to let them return it, which I didn't. And I responded to the dispute. You know how those are. Have you ever had a dispute opened up? You have to basically send a photograph. So I took a picture. I wrote a letter, and then I took a picture of the letter. I don't know what else to do, because it basically said I already contacted eBay, and you guys told me not to do anything, and now they're opening up a dispute. So how did eBay respond to the verdict? What was their final verdict? Find out later in the podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's not that great of a story, but it is. It had an interesting twist that I'll share for later. Say for later. All right, moving on to the segment we call home runs and strikeouts, our best and worst sales of the week. What do you have, Dennis?
I had not only a home run, but I had a grand slam.
Ooh, grand
because, and I think somebody might have seen this on my Instagram. Is actually this week on the Pure Hustle podcast, Hustle of the Week, which is really cool. Thanks, guys, for having me on there. Doing my normal Friday afternoon, going to the dump and running my errands. And I decided to take a look through a couple of boxes there at the dump. I'm not trash picking, ripping bags open. Okay. This is an area of the dump where they just put like bulky items that they don't want over to the side. And these were in like Rubbermaid containers. And I saw somebody taking stuff out of their car and just dumping it there. And I just walked right over, opened it up. Sure enough, Lego sets, some baseball equipment, knee pads, elbow pads, chest protectors, helmets, some weights that you put on your bats, like to help you warm up. Grabbed all that, threw it in the back of the truck, and threw the Legos in the back. And then when I got home, I'm digging through, and I found these guys. This is from one set. You could only get this guy. It's Commander Wolf. And he came with one single set. And it was also with the, like another one of his little clone trooper, soldiers.
Mhm.
But in any case, they were both in there, and they were all original. Sometimes people swap the heads and all that. So I'm scrolling through, and I am losing my mind. I'm like, I cannot believe this is worth this much. So I put it on eBay for $299 for the pair of them.
Yeah.
And I took an offer of $250 plus shipping. And it was like that within a matter of days. It got a ton of views. It got a ton of watchers, and $250. It's okay. I'll take it. And the guy reached out to me and said, this is the missing part of his collection, and he needed these guys. So I'm like, okay. So come to find out, I did some research, and sure enough, these two guys, these two troopers, only came with one single set. That's it. Long since been retired. You can't buy it anymore. The other thing is the ship. I have. That was in one of those boxes too. So I don't know if I should try to put it together. I don't have the instructions or anything, but if you had the ship, it's like $500 sealed.
Wow.
It's crazy money.
Yeah.
But the clone troopers alone are worth $200 easy. So
Yeah.
that was my home run, and I still can't believe it. I opened the thing up and looked down. I'm like, what? Who throws Legos away? I just don't get it. But
Was there any other minifigs that weren't worth as much then?
there's a few that I was just going through. They are not with any set. They come in those little plastic packages. Like there's a series. I think they're probably up to like series 30. And they'll do like all different types of people, just workers and artists and sports. And so those aren't worth that much. There was an architecture, actually, it's back there on the shelf. An architecture set opened, but I actually went through and counted all the pieces, and it's in there. And that should be right around $200 to $250 for that as well. What was my strikeout? Oh, my strikeout. This was not a sale, but I went and I made sure that I set up, not time away we just talked about, but I set up my handling time. And if you send offers out, you got to remember those are like 48 hours, and I completely forgot 3 of them. I had 3. Sure enough.
With the old handling time, right? With the original
handling time wasn't changed, and those people accepted the offers, and you're talking like 5 days late for these 3 sales.
Yeah. Oh.
So in the long scheme of things, it's not going to hurt my metrics because it was 100% shipped on time before then. So I don't know. I'm not in danger of losing top rated, but shame on me.
Yeah.
You got to when are you going to leave? Okay, now back it up 2 days and then stop sending offers.
Yeah.
Right.
Got to think about that.
Yeah. So it's a lot of moving parts. You're right. You can just click the little button and say, I'm on vacation, and it takes a lot of the stress and work out of it. But I kind of like having the store kind of opened. I don't know. I'm just a control freak with that. I don't want to just close it all up and I'll be just sitting there thinking the entire time, am I making any money? And I don't know. Maybe I need more vacations then.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at my store analytics today, and I have one item that shipped late, and I'm like, I don't ship items late. I don't know if it tells me which one it was. I didn't go into, I just saw it briefly. I didn't, dig deeper, but all right. Well, I have a couple home runs to share from last week. Let's see. I've been talking about these gold CD, 24 karat gold CDRs. I have sold 25 of them in the last week for $355 plus shipping. So I'm still averaging there about $14 a disc. And
Wow.
my original investment is 83 cents per disc. And so I think I might have even sold more in this last week, but yeah, they're flying off the shelf. They didn't hardly sell like I sold just a handful here and there, like 40 of them in the first 3-4 months. And now I'm down to less than 20 left out of the 125 I had. But this isn't my home run from this week. I was at an estate sale and I bought some items. This was in the cash and carry garage sale portion of the estate sale. And I threw it on my pile, had no idea what it was worth. Got it home, and it sat in my warehouse for probably 2 to 3 months. I didn't even list it. And then I was getting around to listing stuff, grabbed it, picked it up, did some comps. And I'm like, I saw one sell for over $500. I'm like, wait a minute, what's mine worth? And it was almost complete.
Yeah.
So I have maybe $2 into this. I listed it for $300 and it sold this week for $250 plus shipping. Now I had been offered $250 maybe a month ago and I turned it down. I counter offered to $275 and they said no. So I don't know if it's the same person or not, but I can't complain about $250.
That thing is cool. How big is that?
I don't know. Not very big.
Oh, okay.
Less than a foot.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's real tiny. So there weren't many listed and there was a lot sold. And people were just selling them the parts too as well. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I can always part it out. But
1957. That is incredible.
1957 spaceship. So that was my home run. Strikeout. Empty Apple iPhone boxes that are not generation 1. Generation 1s are a whole different story, but this is generation 5. And I think I took an offer at $4 and it had been in my store for a long time. $4 plus shipping. So I picked up a bunch of these at a yard sale for $1 each, maybe 5, 6, 7 boxes. I picked them up at a couple actually. I don't look them up. If I see them, I'm like, I know some of them are worth maybe $10, $15, but apparently not the iPhone 5. But if we look at the generation 1s, I think this is it. This person had 8 of them. Let's see here. How do you have a wrapped empty box? I don't know. That one sold for $2.99. Let's just find some normal ones here. There we go. I think that's a normal one. That one sold for $240. Generation 1 or original first generation. Yep. 234, 225. That's what they look like. So if you see a generation 1 empty iPhone box, you might want to pick it up. If this is black one, they're worth about $250 or so.
Look how tall they were too. They were like this thick back then.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you don't even get a charger with them anymore.
All right, next, BOLOs and NOLOs. One thing to be on the lookout for and one thing that you wouldn't buy again. What do you have, Dennis?
This is something that I found probably 2 years ago. It was in a bin full of toys, and I'm digging through and I'm, looking at stuff. So normally what I'll do is I'll take everything that I know and I'll put it aside, and then all the unknowns I'll leave in the bin. And this is probably in the bin for, I don't know, a week. And then I go through the bin. I'll actually look stuff up. I'll use, Google pictures and do the reverse image search and all that. But I had no idea what it was. And it's from the show Ben 10 on, was that Cartoon Network? And
I don't know.
The watches that they have, it's a Ben 10 watch.
Okay.
So you can see it. What are they calling it? Omnitrix watch. But here's some solds for that. And they're all, here we go.
They project on the ceiling on the wall.
30, 35 bucks is one with the band, $40.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one in the package, 35 bucks. So you'll find these around. And again, I paid nothing for it, but this is probably what you'll find here. Any one of these. Here's a crazy one. I have no idea why that was $100, but looks like 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 bucks.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you're probably going to walk by it 9 times out of 10. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to leave a $25, $30 item just sitting there, especially if you can get it for free,
Yeah.
So Ben 10 Omnitrix watches.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll find them now. And yeah, $25. So it's not a huge bolo, but it's, like I said, I found it for free. So you probably will do the same thing.
Yeah.
My Nolo is, I don't have a prop, but you guys you're going to know what I'm talking about, because you're going to have seen these at yard sales and thrift stores. Pewter bowls, pewter dishes, Wilton, pewter,
Mm-hmm.
the plates that like the plates and the little carved stuff on the sides and
Yep.
and the embossed thing. Dude, just stop buying these things. The figures now, that's something totally different. I didn't say figures. Pewter bowls and plates and dishes. Like, let's put those aside. But pewter figures, like for some of these like Dungeons and Dragons type games and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
now you're talking. So that's a Nolo turned into a Bolo for pewter. Not all pewter is worthless.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff I find is. But if you find the little figurines and, they're soldiers and warriors and monsters and stuff, I have found those in the past, and I've turned a pretty good profit on them. $5 up to $25 for one little figure, depending on the age. So it's everywhere, and I stopped buying it. It's too heavy to ship, and people aren't buying it. So that's it. Don't do it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, my bolo is something I found 4 of these last weekend at a yard sale, and it's not the first time I found them. And that item is a Norwex mop. Have you heard of the company Norwex?
I have not.
They're like a network marketing company. And my wife used to sell products from them, but they're high quality, like microfiber cleaning products. You can just use water and you don't have to use chemicals. They're good for the environment. They're not cheap. So this is... afraid to click on this. Yeah, these mops, it has a green handle down here at the green ball. If you ever see this mop, I bought one in an estate sale for $1 last fall and sold it for $56, I believe.
Come on.
And this doesn't even have a mop pad on it. But as you can see, some of them, some of these are selling for 60, 65. Let's see. Oh, these are like with the pads and stuff. That's what the pad looks like for the mop. And that one sold for $69 plus shipping. So if I found 4 of them and I paid $5 each at a yard sale, and they're still sitting in my warehouse, I haven't listed them yet. But yeah, if you see Norwex products, they're typically high quality, and there's like a cult following maybe from the people that like to buy that stuff. And they'd pay a lot of money for this brand new. So yeah, Norwex is my
cool.
Is my bolo. Now my Nolo is polyester flags that I see these a lot sitting on tables at yard sales. As you can see, I took an offer. I was selling them for $4. I think I took an offer of $3 each. I had 3 of them. I paid, I don't know, I think I paid a quarter each for them. So I didn't pay a lot, but I had them for a long time. And flags, maybe a nice big cotton cloth flag might have some decent money in it, depending on how big it is. But these 3x5 nylon polyester flags, they don't sell for anything. Even if they're free, I mean, they don't take up much space and they're easy to list, but you're not going to get much for them at all. All right. Moving on to customer service. Last time we had a podcast, I had mentioned that I sold some recordable blank records for $229. I pay $80 for a big lot of this stuff at an estate sale, and I shipped them. Now, when I was doing my research, these measured 6.5 inches, but when I was looking them up, every single record I saw with that label on it that was identical to what I had was listed as a 7-inch record. So I thought that's just what they called them. I didn't And later, I shipped these to the person. When they got them, they said, I am really disappointed. These are only 6.5 inches. And you said they were 7 inches. And I'm like, whoops. They opened up a return.
Ugh.
I'm like, not another return. That would have been like my 5th one in less than 2 weeks. And I said, I'm sorry. I just thought they called 6.5 inch records 7 inches. I thought maybe they just rounded up or something, because I didn't find any 6.5 inch records. And she says, yeah, the lady that bought them, the 6.5, they're not as thick of a record. They're not as high quality, and you can't record as much on them. So I really wanted 7s. And I said, well, I still have a pile of stuff. Let me go through my warehouse, or when I get to my warehouse on Monday, and look and see what I had. And so it turns out I actually had 11 of the 7 inch blank records. They didn't have a label on them, and I didn't know what they were. So I took some pictures, and she's like, yes, I want those. I will trade you. You send me those 11 records for the price I paid, and I will send you your 12 back. And I looked at their feedback. They had good feedback, high feedback, 100% customer service. So I mailed them the records, and they got them on Saturday, and they're like, yeah, these are exactly what I want. I will ship yours back on Monday. Monday, I get an email from them and said, sorry, family emergency came up, and I can't ship these till Wednesday.
Oh, no.
Now, it is Friday now, and she has not told me. I need to contact her today, because now I'm worried that she's keeping my records. I don't know what they're worth. They're not worth the $229, but I'm like, if I'm getting scammed, this is going to tick me off. I'm hoping that they're telling me the truth, because I said, I'm trusting you on this, that you're going to return those, because otherwise she'd have to open up a return, and then I'd get docked for another return on eBay, but my butt would have been covered in cases like this.
And you'd have to pay for the return shipping.
Yeah, well, I gave her a $10 refund to cover the shipping costs. And they responded when I said apologize. They're like, they understood. And I said, can you educate me on the differences? And then they sent me a huge letter telling me, here's what you look for. And so they were real helpful. And I'm like, okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, you got to keep us in the loop on what happens.
If you want to see what these records looked like that I sold, this is what they look like. They're just recordable records. Oh yeah. I even put this photograph was in there. So they thought they were 7 inches, but if they'd have just looked at the photographs, they would have saw that because the box that I had said 7 inches, and I thought these came with the box. So I was wrong. You can see how many pictures I typically take when I sell stuff. So there you have it. That's what the records were that I sold.
Very cool.
Moving on to the segment, Dennis's favorite segment of the show, Time Machine. Travel back to a specific year. And what would you buy then to sell today? What year did we go with?
2014, which is 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Right. And I found some cool stuff. So 2014 was 10 years ago, and I'm going to stay with the Lego sort of theme, I guess. We've been doing a whole Lego theme. Mm-hmm. This is a set from 2014, and if you look and have bought it back then, this is probably a $40 set 10 years ago. If you Lego heads want to know, it's the 75059, which is the Sandcrawler from the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
These are all sold listings, and these are sealed. So this is why I tell you should go out and you should buy these things and just keep them, in a closet somewhere.
Yeah.
$500, $500. Here's one that's opened but complete for $400. Even the figures that came with this set. Here's Uncle Owen, $60 for him. Here's a couple more. These are brand new, $600.
Wow.
For these. It is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen this set in the stores like back then. It's long, like I said, it's long since been retired, but the little Jawa guys are going for $10 to $15, $20. So yeah, these just sold last month, March 30th, $550 for this set. So I'm probably going to buy a bunch of stuff. Obviously more Legos. I don't know why I don't do that now. You know what I mean? I you know what I'm saying? Like I talk about it now, and I should be out there buying Lego sets and putting them away. I guess it's a return on investment type of thing where you got to buy them and just store them. But yeah, I'm going to buy that set. Like I said, probably the $39.99 because they usually have them in tiers, $10, $15, the $29, and then the $39, and then up from there. I mean, there's hundreds of dollars of Lego sets, but that's probably around that $40, maybe $50 range. And now it's already $500 just 10 years later. The other one I don't have a prop for was set number 75055, which is Star Wars Star Destroyer. Same year, about the same amount of money, between $400 and $500 for that too. So
crazy money.
2014 Lego Star Wars. Awesome stuff. Great investment.
Yeah. Well, 10 years ago, Christopher Nolan made a movie. It's been in the news lately. Do you know what that movie was?
Batman?
Nope. I don't know what year that was made. I think it was earlier than that. Interstellar. I don't know if you watched. Yeah. I really like that movie. I've watched it a few times. You can watch it for free all over the place online. Or at least at one point you could. I think Netflix had it and Amazon had it as well. But back in 2014, there was a limited edition Blu-ray UHD high. Is that right? UHD.
Ultra high definition.
4K Blu-ray that was produced by a company called Manta Lab. Now, as you can see,
get out of here.
These are some of the solds. Whoops, I got to.
That's crazy.
This one here sold for. This is really hard to do.
Why?
It's limited, and maybe because the movie's making a comeback. But this here is like $250. This is what I'm talking about. This from Manta Labs. It's still sealed. These are consistently selling for $250, and that's in the last month or so, last couple months. I'm just going back 90 days here. I forget. Let's see. There's 733 of them sold, but yeah, a lot of low selling stuff. But if you can get that one from Manta, I don't know why it's so much. Oops, I got to sort by.
I don't know either.
Price. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to buy. Fill up a tub with Interstellar and start selling them for $250. I guess there's one $209, $140. So I don't know. Oh, that's a movie poster. $140 for the movie poster. Ooh,
wow.
Here's one for $125. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, but I'm going to find out which one was worth it. And
I don't understand that. That is insane.
Yeah. So I love Christopher Nolan movies. I just love how he incorporates music and stuff into his movies. And I think in Interstellar, there's like background music playing the entire time, except when the rocket ship takes off, then it's like silence. It's like he does it so well.
Very cool. I had no idea. I'm going to go through my media now. Maybe I have one.
I just know that movie was being talked about lately. It was 10 years ago. Story time. I want to finish my story about the Kirby vacuum cleaner caddy that I bought full of accessories. The buyer wasn't happy. They did a chargeback on their credit card. eBay told me to do nothing because they already got all their money back. But then they wanted to return it for full refund. eBay told me not to because they already got their money back. So they opened up a dispute, and I sent them my information, my side of the story, and eBay agreed with the customer.
Oh, yeah.
They took $60 out of my account, gave it to the person, and then I lost the dispute. There's a $20 at the time. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but I lost $20 for the dispute fee because I did what eBay told me to do. So they got their money back from the credit card, and they got their money back from me. And I lost $20 in the process.
And the item.
And that is just from the caddy. in the future, I'm going to tell a story about the vacuum cleaner that I sold that came with the caddy, because this one's even better. But I'll save that for another day.
No.
Yeah. Okay, we're wrapping up here. We're already at an hour. Do we have a question of the week this week, Dennis?
Let's talk about Legos, since we were, kind of filled with Legos this episode. We want to know, are you guys buying Legos, storing them, setting them aside to flip them, year later, 5 years later, 10 years later? Are you guys currently doing that? And if so, which ones? Which ones do you like to do that with? Is it, the city, the movies that come out, is it Star Wars? Are you guys routinely buying, saving, and flipping Legos? Let us know in the comments, and we'll read the answers next week.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Again, glad to be back. Hopefully I can kick this cold, and hopefully we can get some yard sales going. I'm ready to go. I really am ready. It's just such a waiting game. But yeah, it's nice to take a vacation and come back. And I do feel refreshed, even though I don't feel healthy. My mind feels refreshed, and I'm ready to hit the ground running. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I hope you're getting something out of it. I love the feedback, and we love the questions and comments and all that. So keep them coming. Let us know if you'd like to see something else on the show. If you'd like us to talk about something else on the show, do you have a cool segment idea that we could implement? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. We could use some subscribers, and tell a friend in reselling that we exist. I'd like to see our numbers go up. We do this just because we enjoy it, but we like the interaction, and we do want to grow this thing into something, hopefully. But next week, I think we are going to have a special guest on, if all goes well. So that'll be our first guest appearance by somebody. But yeah, until then, we'll just see you next week. Take care, everyone.